Good morning, everybody. Have you managed to find us? We're back here. Hi, how you doing? We're back on the face again, eh? So I thought I'd dress up a little bit special, like I'm not a bum. Welcome, if you've joined me here and joined us all here in Italy. My name's Pete Wirt, and I am back on Zone Multimedia here in the Italian Alps to bring you live finals day at the World Inline Masters Hockey Championships. And hopefully today we're going to be bringing you some exclusive interviews. I'll try and get a few guys up here in the box to help us out and talk to you from their own perspectives on what they think about these Masters inline games and what they're thinking about what it means to them to come out here and join us for this spectacle of sport. I've told you everything over the last few days now that I can possibly think of to say, and I'm just going to let the hockey do the talking today, and I'll let these good gentlemen and honourable sportsmen all come up and tell you a little bit from their side of what it means. So I'll be working on that. Welcome back to my crew, Nicola Ambrosini and the X-Zone Multimedia crew, for coming back and setting all this up for me today. Whew, it's still hot up here, so if there's a little bit of moisture on my face, I was looking for my makeup lady earlier on, but she decided not to come in. I don't know why. She says apparently she's not getting paid enough. I thought beer was enough. It's always been enough for me, so if it's not enough for her, then I don't know what else is. Anyway, so sweat, shirt, tie, hockey. Yeah, I think you've got it all right here. So welcome to especially the chaps back home who might have woken up early this Saturday morning, I don't know why they would, to watch a little bit of hockey. Hockey fans, ex-GB players out there, I know you probably are watching. So many thanks for joining us, and it's great to see you guys out there and sending me messages on Facebook and Twitter, etc., etc. So yeah, you guys are welcome. Doubt very much anyone in North America is up yet, but I'm certain that they soon will be. I know that friends and family of the Canadians and Americans have been getting up at the crack of dawn, or more likely just clinging on to what little energy they've got left in the bar, and asking the bartender to throw on another pizza or get a bit more popcorn going, just to hang on and watch this only Masters inline hockey anywhere in the world that's available. Right now, what we've got out here is the veterans team. We've got Great Britain, Carl Hammond, who's having his birthday today. Happy birthday. Goodness knows how old he is, though. It's difficult to tell when you look at the face that that's been through that much. But he's out there leading up the GB veterans team, and we're going to be streaming a little bit of that. And also, while this is going on, hopefully we're going to get a few people coming up here from the GB team, from Canada, USA, whoever else I can manage to scramble together, and getting them here live and exclusive for you. So we sort of are running down the clock now for sort of 6 minutes to go, and I'll direct your attention to this morning's veterans match. I'm glad to finally be able to bring you one between Great Britain and l'Équipe de France. And the GB guys doing a really good job out there so far. Way over in the other village in the Murano Arena, sort of a neighboring village and a commune structure that's helped us out an awful lot. They've got a nice little promotional video that from time to time you might be able to see today, and our thanks go out to the good people there who have gone a long way into making the effort of allowing us a good deal to be able to use their facilities and be able to host this event, a really big, complex, structural affair, all run by volunteers, as I've mentioned to you guys many times on the other streams. It's completely a volunteer operation. It's totally run by good people, friends, family, sometimes just people from the street, children, cousins, uncles, anyone they can get a hold of to bring them here to help us run this event. So we really appreciate that from them. And the local communes always stepping up. That's why we always come back to Italy, in fact, because they're good people, really good people. So we're pleased to be here with them for that. Let me take you through, I don't know, you probably can't see just behind me here, but I've got my little wall boards. And on these wall boards you can see a number of little tidbits and pieces that I've tried to put together. And I'll try and take you through some of this during the matches as we're watching them today. But today's big final is between Czechoslovakia and the United States. Another fantastic repeat of last year's final. And the USA did what they could against an outstanding technical and masterclass of hockey displayed by the Czech team last year. This year, is it going to be any different? The Czech teams have struggled and stumbled a little bit along their way. Let's see if they've got what it takes to put together something yet again another gear higher, like they often do during these championships. After the national anthems, I'll take you through a few more. GB team singing loud and proud there, as they often do. Louder and prouder than just about anyone. Maybe struggling a little bit with the timing on that, bless them. But, they're not quite what they once were, these older gentlemen. Monsieur Lorenzo Spinetti, a good friend of mine and an outstanding player, usually the key goal scorer for France, has scored many goals for the France under-38s at World Cup level and has now graduated, along with a lot of these other chaps. Hervé Lagalique, a good friend of mine, and always first to say good morning and shake my hand at breakfast when we see him in the hotel, and always key on Facebook to say hello to me as well too. So these guys are tremendous competitors and good friends of mine as well too, and have a long, formally most of them are lifters of this World Cup. In Anglet and in Pinerolo in Italy years ago. They are World Cup winners, so they know how to do this. This is going to be a tough game for the GB vets. It's going to be a little bit of a challenge for them to challenge this French team, because they're resurgent, really strong. And in this part of the draw, maybe struggled a little bit against some of the other teams. Italy, they beat, but in terms of Canada and the USA, really, really too strong. So going through towards the final, we've got USA and Slovakia in the final for the veterans, and that should be an interesting match. Almost, but not quite nearly a repeat of the Masters finals, which are going to be here tonight a little bit later on. In fact, I'll just confirm the time for you. That's definitely going to be tonight here at 5:30 local time, the final between the United States and the Czech Republic, a repeat of last year's final. For now, here we've got the old fellas, a team that I almost came to trial for, and I spoke to Carl Hammond, whose birthday it is today, by the way. Happy birthday, Carl. And said I couldn't make the trials, it was just too busy. But the GB outfit this year in both age groups turning up to be really having stepped up a level majorly and really doing a tremendous job at representing themselves here and winning games. especially the Australia, the old classic rivals at veterans level. So here we go, France with an early break. GB caught a little bit on the hop there, not quite defending well, but this is always going to be really tough for the GB vets. I'm really glad to have been able to finally catch up with these chaps and watch a little bit of their hockey. Mostly the veterans games have been played over at Murano in the neighboring village in the Murano Arena. But today, to try and give them a taste of what it's like to skate on this really nice surface here in the Pinerolo Arena, the main arena for these competitions. In Bolzano, in the Dolomite Hills of northern Italy. In the sweltering heat, although today maybe just a few degrees cooler, but not by much. It's still sufferingly hot and stiflingly still in this jungle heat in the rink at the Pala Onda. John Fowler sort of holding station, number 87, is played for GB38s and many teams of mine, and also runs a lot of the vets and rec hockey in Sheffield, alongside with the rink owner, the old Queen's Road rink in Sheffield, Nigel Thompson, number 8, conserving his energy against this very quick, very skillful France side that's stacked with World Cup winners. So this is going to be a tough ask for GB, but they'll be pleased to come out and play. Good save there. GB just trying to hold off the French attack and maybe see if they can get a little bit of a breakout. Rich Morlane sending through down the center to Nigel. He turns, nice little pass. What are they going to make of it? Tries to do a little toe drag, but couldn't get past the French defender. French are quick. Quick enough to be already 1 goal to the good. Lorenzo Spinetti toe dragging but losing it. I expect him to be on the score sheet quite frequently. A little bit of a back pass back to Fowler. Fowler trying to find Hammond but getting tripped up. This is dangerous. Hammond skates back hard. GB defending well there, and then breaking out on their own. What's Fowler got? A little floater, and then sending it through. So GB might have a few tricks up their sleeve as well too, and if the heat and the pressure doesn't get to them, then they should be fine. France moving the puck around really well, as you can see on the replay. Good save, and smartly dealt with. French team looking for a breakout. Stretching now. Hervé Legaric. In a familiar position to him. He's often tried to get in behind on a defense that I've been trying to muster. Challenged him to try and score on my line once. He claims he did it. I said he could hand me the puck if he scored on my line during the Lignaro friendlies. And he handed me the puck, strangely. He never scored on my line. I said, it's not just scoring on GB. It's score on my line. He won't do it. I shut him out. His memory's not quite what it used to be. Well, he's a cheery little chappy. And a good friend. Ooh, a little bit of a knock on the noggin there for Mr. Brooks, the double sixes. France moving quickly, concertedly, coming on 3. Great save. There's a reason they call Gary Holding the glove. Nobody knows why. Maybe that's it. Maybe that's it right there. Just takes one, and reputations can stick. If you can save that like that, you can save it again. Apparently, although he keeps it very quiet, he owns a rink somewhere, Gary Holding. Might even be the one that the GB Team 38s and 45s train in. So, yeah, Gary and his glove doing his little bit in Great Britain and the Little Islands to do what they can to support the game of inline, especially at this old-timers level. That's a little bit unlucky there. Gary's glove staying firmly in his pocket while the puck whistles past his shoulder. Doesn't like it. Smart pass, quickly going forward. Defender trying to block it out. Gary Holding thinks maybe he was screened a little bit. GB just trying to break out of their zone with a little bit of pace. It's hard, though. The French forecheck, they want to score. Oh, great defense. Carl Hammond throwing his body at that one. Spinetti, prolific goal scorer. MVP for France many years in a row. Electing to do the pass, and the rest of his team can do the stick handling on his behalf. So, France 3 goals to the good. Nigel Thompson trying to stretch to get the puck off of his French compatriot as they consolidate at the back. Monsieur Lagalique is no stranger to scoring a few goals himself, so watch out for some pace. GB vets, men of a certain age here, maybe just boxing up a little bit into a shape, trying to avoid having to skate too much. A little bit of a dangerous pass, but it drew two French attackers deep and allows GB to break forward, but not enough bodies in the right direction. Could be now, and there's that pace of Lagalique. Great little engine. Rich Morling finding the crossing pass. Slap shot. And not quite there. France building on a break there. Stretch play. Oh, good defense. Carl Hammonds saw the danger, stretched his stick out. Good physical play there. Good little fight. And Carl Hammond on his birthday, pushing the French and keeping them honest. Thinks that the play might have been whistled dead there as he was strolling back to the bench. Just chilling to the max, and this could be dangerous. Fowler on his own in the defense. Just did enough, though. And him, together with the glove, managed to pull off some sort of defense. Yeah, just a nice little stick check as number 21 from France went through. Just like he planned it. Ooh, sloping, dipping slap shot. France can strike so quickly. They're always a threat. It can be really dangerous. France veterans beating the GB vets by 3-0 now. 12 minutes gone. Sorry, my bad. It's 12 minutes remaining. This is a countdown clock. Do you think I ought to know that by now, considering I've been watching solidly 4 days now, day 5 today? Hockey matches in this arena. Fresh legs all around. Well needed after days of competition in the steaming heat. Le Gallic on the stretch. Looking for someone to pass to. Just getting caught by the boards there, an unlucky bounce. Might have done more with that. Still turns on the forecheck. Hammond's going to have to stretch to get rid of it. He did everything he could there. Now GB with the player way high on the stretch too. So maybe the chaps wanted to let the puck do the work. Gary Holding there caught a little bit on the hop, to be fair. Maybe not quite expecting that, and it wasn't really quite covering the far post. Through the traffic. Was lucky, actually. The shot was just enough to catch the inside of the far post. Gary didn't expect that. And the timeout was called. Okay, ladies and gents, I've just managed to acquire a very handsome young chap up here in the box, Simon Hare from the Team GB. And I'm going to have a little chat with him while we watch the Vets play here on the live feed. Harry, thanks for joining us here, and congratulations on what's been a most outstanding effort for Team GB. Results better than maybe we expected, but, you know, we always could have done better. We always want to do better. What's your opinion so far on how far the GB team has progressed since you've been playing?
Yeah, I'm very happy how the week's gone, really. We had our objectives at the start of the week to reach the quarterfinals, and we achieved that, so anything else was a bonus. And then, obviously, every game we set our targets, possibly keep the single figures and get a few goals. We've all bought into the systems this year. I think it's shown in the hard games. We've kept the score down when we've all worked together as a unit. So it's been really good. You know, there's been the lads have all got on well. I think they've worked for each other. But I think today's game, you showed how much effort we put in yesterday. USA and Canada, and we're really tired today. And I think it showed first period especially.
Yeah, the legs and the sort of the fatigue, maybe psychologically as well, in this heat out here, really telling its toll. What kind of things have you guys done, in terms of fitness-wise in GB, to try and combat this and meet the standard of the other players?
I think everyone's had their own personal programs and done their own sort of fitness. You know, the lads do train as a team once a month, but you know, we all live so far apart. Some people play ice, some people play inline, some people play ball hockey. So, you know, they're getting the fitness through hockey, but it's not always easy to train together.
Well, I think you've done a tremendous job so far. As the captain of the team of GB for quite some time, what's your sort of plans going forward into the future? How do you think you're going to be able to meet the challenge of the years coming and the GB's continuing commitment to Inline Masters?
Yeah, I know, Peter, you've done a great job this week. And you can see from the games, it's just getting stronger and stronger. You know, there's talk of Finland and Sweden as well. This year I was really impressed with the likes of Germany and Australia as well, and they didn't even make the top 8. But you know, I was going to say the young guys, the new 38 kind of guys coming through, are really improving the standard. So we're trying to get better, so we've got to up our game as well, and look for players out there who are ready and good enough to play in this.
So the message going out now to all of GB, if you guys are just about coming up to age, get ready, because this is the only Inline Masters competition. Harry, you've done a tremendous job in representing your country and representing this team, and I'm really looking forward to seeing what you can do next year. Is there anyone you want to say hi to while you're here and live out going to Great Britain and around the world?
I don't know if they'll be watching this, but yeah, just my family back home. Jenny's been a rock, and my kids has been great. It's a hard week, and we don't spend much time with our families. You know, I haven't seen Jenny for 3 weeks. She was playing for GB ball girls.
Yeah, she's a hockey player as well too, isn't she?
Yeah, so we haven't seen her for 3 weeks. But yeah, it's gone by quick this week, which I think it shows how much everyone's got on, because there's been no arguments really in the team. Everyone's got on, so the team's flew over.
That's one of the best things about the GB team as well. So we all get along. We have a good crack. We have a great laugh. Always have done as well too. And that's
good banter.
As much as the great banter. And I'm sure you add to it as well too. You and our friend Kaj and many others as well too. Well, thanks very much, Simon. You've done a really great job, and you've done GB proud.
Cheers.
Congratulations.
Peter. Keep it up. Cheers.
Cheers, Paul. Simon Hare there, a tremendous representative for the GB outfit and stuff like that. And, stand-up chap who's doing his very best with the GB team. We struggle in terms of the level because we're dealing with some pros out there, top-class players. Simon Hare, no stranger to a bit of top-class playing. Himself a double IHF player in the past, and he's done his stint at the highest level. And now is clearly shouting out to those of you who are watching in the UK, hockey fans all, come along. It's 38 and under. Sorry, 38 and under. Don't we wish? 38 and over. This is now the only inline veterans competition in existence. There are other national and international governing bodies available, but this is it right now. And here we are, GB representing both age categories of this international competition that grows and grows every single year, year on year, as we develop and work together to grow the sport. And there are many new and interesting things coming up. Later on today, I will be speaking to the local organizer, David Ninzati, and he can tell you personally what his plans are and his vision is for the future. One of the greatest stalwarts of the game and the great coordinator of 2 times now here in Bolzano, this spectacular event. We wouldn't be here without him and many others as well too. So hopefully speaking to him and the president of FAIRS to come up, Mr. Lestrucci, and Alain Blanchet, the genius who's behind all of this, our own Isaac Newton. And we're looking forward to speaking to them a little bit later, if I can get him up into the booth. We're still here live now on Zone Multimedia, XONE Multimedia, live from Bolzano in the northern hills of Italy. It's 5-1 France, just stretching and pushing GB veterans side. This is the veterans match and the second match of today on this stream. GB earlier on just getting a little bit hurt by the Slovenian side, or a little bit sore, having expected so much and played so well earlier on in the tournament. And so now we know that for the 38s competition, Slovakia will be placing, as I'm just moving my board over here, will be placing in position 7. And GB will be in position 8. Sorry, yeah, 7 and 8. So I can put that up on my board. We have later on today, France v Canada in the Masters. Switzerland versus Italy for the bronze. Czech Republic v USA in the big final. It's 5:30 later on today. For the vets, we've got currently now GB versus France, Italy versus Australia in that runner-up final, and then at the top we are going to have the USA versus the Czech cousins Slovakia. The Czech team not beating their former countrymen of many years ago. And so it will be the Czech Republic and Team Canada who play for the bronze in the veterans final. (6-1) now for the vets, France versus GB. Just getting a short break in play. Time enough to top up your coffees, get a drink. We've got 4 minutes and 57 seconds left in this first period of this vets match. France dominant as expected. It's a big ask. These are, many of them, former World Championship winners at the over 38s and have now graduated up to the veterans level. Are no less the wicked competitors, skillful players and quick and talented individuals. Spinetti, multiple goal scoring for Team France. But a few of these gents have scored themselves for GB in the past, at 38s as well. Carl Hammond is their captain and leader and put together this year this vet side. For the first time, the GB team have got a vets team out here, and so going forward, it's looking really good. They've accounted themselves very well. Managed to avoid the wooden spoon competition, so they're still in here fighting for what they can do in the sort of the bottom side of the finals. Just having a little medicine for my throat here. Bless my colleagues from GB who've decided to pass a little around. Apparently it's the little post-match medicine from the first team. Hoo-wee! That's fresh. I don't know if it'll help my throat, but it'll certainly help my mood. I don't need very much help. I'm watching a great bunch of guys play some fantastic hockey out here. Great bunch of lads. Have a go if you think you're hard enough. I know there's a few chaps out there in the UK that I've played with that are just about the right age to get themselves on here. So if what you see, you think you can do better, then what are you guys waiting for? Put down the old rivalries and the feuds and whatever, and get yourselves down and get your sticks on this pad and get out here and represent. It's a great RAF. It's great fun. You'll never get a better crack. And we've really made the most of it this week. And as Simon Harry was saying, everyone in really great spirits. Part of the whole purpose of this Masters Inline is to remind ourselves that despite maybe losing a yard or two, that really we're every bit the competitors. But more than that, we share a certain fraternity. And that's not forgotten. And we party well. And rightly so. Carl Hammond running out there, catching them on the change, does the deke, can he score? Oh, on his birthday, he almost did it. Well played. Carl Hammond striking, seeing a little mistake there while the French team were trying to do some line changes and just picked up the loose puck but couldn't quite bury it. And there's going to be a little bit of a penalty for some argy-bargy behind the French keeper. And the roughing penalty is called. GB going a little short-handed here after the roughing call and taking the face-off in their zone. Just spotted one of the Canadian under-38 team, Carl Bryan, and he's going to pop up shortly to the booth in a second. So if we can get him in here, it'll be great to have a chat with him. Okay, just stand there and smile pretty. Not too close because it's pretty loud. Okay, ladies and gents, I've got here with me in the booth fantastic Canadian competitor, a gentleman of the game, and someone whose acquaintance I've had the great pleasure of making over the last 2 years at these games. Carl Bryan for Team Canada. Every year Team Canada expects, and they come out here with so much expectation and they want to work so hard to do a job. Maybe this year not quite doing what they thought they could with a stronger team. What do you think?
Yeah, look, we brought a great team we had the lineup to do it, but you know what? We just didn't get her done. But I'd like to tell you I knew the answers, and I don't. Contemplated all night. Got about no sleep last night thinking about it. But no, at the end of the day, look, you know what? Like if you take the standard last year and then you compare it to this year, there's no comparison. And then notwithstanding, I think there's a very, like, these guys play real inline hockey, right? Like where, you know, France, like you play
Absolutely.
ice hockey, it's run and gun, you race to the net, you run people over, and then you go back the other way. That is not the way this is played. Like inline hockey in its truest fashion. And I remember listening to you last year when you were covering the Czechs, in particular in the final against the U.S. They play a different game. Like what do you call it? The washing machine?
Yeah.
Right? There's no forwards, there's no defense. You're just back and forth, back and forth.
Yeah.
So with that being said, I think that you know, Italy. Like we lost against Italy, and basically what they did is they just came out and played a better roller hockey game in the second half. Is what I think.
And then they play possession hockey so well, and they've got such a technical game. Their passing is really crisp. Canadians maybe a little bit more old time, trying to get a little bit more physical and imposing themselves. What do you think you guys have to do now to really compete at this? Which is, I mean, this is the only Masters inline there is anywhere in the world. And I know that in the meeting the other night we had, the Canadian team were really, really committed, you know, stepping forward and saying, like, we want this bad, we're going to keep pushing it forward. What are you guys going to do to sort of adapt the game, or are you going to bring something special for the next years and years coming forward?
We are going to adapt because come heck or high water, buddy, we're taking this thing down and we're taking home a gold medal. And I expect to do it next year. And you know, Huntsy, one of my dearest friends on planet Earth, man's not going to rest until we got gold medals around our neck. So no, we're going to go back. We're going to go back to the drawing board. But at the same time, we're big boys, and I'll just admit that we got outplayed. You know, we got beat by Italy. And I mean, they took on the States in the semifinal. Like it went into overtime, correct?
Yeah,
I
you
mean,
saw
again,
that game. Controversial, full of drama, two evenly matched sides. Incredible game to watch.
It was a ripper. So, I mean, and with that being said, you know, we're Canada. We came here to win. There's no doubt about it. But, you know, we're going to go home with our heads held high that we just got beat by a better team, and it's all good. And there's no shame whatsoever in it. Like, great hockey players, man. And again, the standard. I just can't believe, even, you know, watching these guys out here, the over 45s. The standard is incredible. And frankly, it's an honor to be a part of it, man. I have so much fun. And we all appreciate you. My family, my daughter, my 4-year-old daughter watches and listens, and she just absolutely loves it, as does my wife and a lot of my friends. So we do. On behalf of the Canadian boys, thanks, brother. You do an amazing job up here, bud.
It's more than my pleasure because, look, I've got the best seats in the house here. I get to watch hockey. And, you know, anyone who knows me, my friends in the United Kingdom, work colleagues, pals, and the family and friends back home in the PEG, they know me well enough to know that what I do best is talk. And talk for both countries, representing that well. So if I'm going to do that, I might as well do what I can do best. But it's a real pleasure for me to see you guys going out there and doing what you guys do best, which is play hockey and represent your countries well. And you guys have done that tremendously well. So, yeah, congratulations on your efforts. It's been a real pleasure to see you guys play, and I can't wait to see you guys out here again next year.
You know we'll be here, man. And we're taking it home next year, buddy.
Great job. I really appreciate it. See you guys soon. So that's Carl Bryan there, stepping up and describing to you for himself how important it is to come out here and play, even though that, you know, Canada expects so much, that they have so much expectation for hockey, and there's so much love for the game at any level and any style. You know, this is our sport, this is our culture. It cuts us and we bleed, and so, you know, for them it must be a little bit hard to walk away and maybe not coming away with something a bit more special. Maybe a little bit even harder still watching the United States, who also come up here and just rip it so professionally, so expertly, and they meet this standard and oftentimes have bettered it, especially in that match against Italy only just the other day. So, yeah, a really great effort from the Canadians, and kind of representing there, Carl, the very best example of, you know, how to meet success and defeat equally and treat the two imposters just the same, as someone once said somewhere at some point. Anyway, so thanks everyone for joining us here. I'm hoping that there's a few watching on Zone Multimedia and the live stream. My name's Pete Wirt. What can I say? I love talking about sport. I'm a sports tutor for my sins at York College in the United Kingdom in York, where I live, and very luckily had permission and a bit of extra help and guidance from the chaps at work about how to come out here and do this. And the fact is that they're covering my backside for me all week. No one can believe I got the holidays, but I did somehow, and I'm out here doing this on everyone's behalf, and it's my pleasure to do it. Hopefully I can get a few more people in here and they can tell you what they think about this experience and why it's so important to me and to us to play out here. It's the only Inline Masters there is in the world. And the veterans are out there now, Team GB versus Team France, playing their hearts out for their country. GB on the board with 1, France with 6. No goals scored recently during these interviews. And let's see how we progress. Join me on Facebook, Peter Wirt on Facebook, or on Twitter. My name's Pete Wirt at @IonInline, and you can send messages. And if you want to ask some questions, if you want to know something from the players, if I can get them up here into the booth, then give us a shout, and I'll see what I can do for you. Very kindly, Carl Hammond has asked the chaps out there now, the GB vets, to send me a few bios. And so I'm duty bound to send a shout out to them and tell you a little bit about their story. The GB vets, Stefan Knowles. He's been a street hockey player since 1984. That's a dubious year to start. Kind of retired from that in 91. And came back recently. Nuclear Sushi team in the BIPA leagues. TW Tigers in BIPA, who are now just promoted to the Premier League. So he's still kicking it around with the youngsters. Number 66, Dean Brooks. Born in 66. I think that might have something to do with his number. Street hockey player from way back in the early 80s. Terminators, Titans, Raiders, Kingston Street Flyers. Now still going 25 years later. Won the best international forward in Germany in 95 after a 10-year absence from the game. Jason Fox played with me in Anglet during the Masters World Cup there, that second year that Team France held the World Cup. Jason Fox's, and then I've played in a lot of GB sides with Jason and other vets and rec stuff like that. Really good player. Did skater hockey in the early 90s in the Teesside area, Teesside Mariners, Morpeth Aztecs. He's kind of been in and out of hockey for a little while. He's not playing just now, but he's played for the Smoke up in Teesside, who I know, my good friends. Pav Brown up there is gutted that he can't make it. He played for me in Anglet as well, alongside Foxy. And the three of us had a right laugh out there as well, too. It's tough for us. That it wasn't the strongest GB team that we've ever put out, and we struggled against a lot of the other teams. But we did our very best, and we're glad to represent what we and did what we could at that time. So, yeah, fond memories of that, chaps. The originals. Carl Hammond, 49 years young today. I'd like to say it doesn't look it, but haha, kid. A great competitor. He's played for the 38s as well. Been a street hockey player from school since 1984. Witnessed Street Hawks, Warrington Steelers, Predators. He's a coach for men's and women's juniors at the Predators. Played for the Pythons. Coached women's Northern Select. Selected for the England squad back in '99. Came back to the sport in 2009. Player coach at the Colonel Wizards, Plymouth Stars, league champs, and has been selected for GB. And he's played for the B team, which it was at the time. 38s in 2016, and then now for player and coach for the first time that the GB team has put together a vets. So those guys are out there representing, and those stories are repeated several times over by a number of all the players here, the French and all of the rest of the representatives at Veterans, exactly the same. We've all got a story to tell like that, and that's why we come out and play, because the stories that we've got to tell and the experience that we bring to the sport are still incredibly valuable and important. And maybe with a little bit of luck, and we aspire to inspire and maybe demonstrate and role model what we think is the best way to play and the best way to represent. Sport is, after all, a metaphor for life. Wouldn't be a very good very good representative of a sports tutor if I didn't at least in some way believe that. I know the lads at work in the pit sometimes can be a little bit sarcastic about their jobs under tough austerity. But I think and I know in the conversations that we often have at lunch, while we shake our heads and wonder what cuts are coming next, but then in our heart of hearts, we kind of believe that sports is the answer. At least the answer to the question, what are you going to do this Saturday afternoon? Hopefully you're going to join me here and watch a bit of this exhibition of old-time hockey. Representatives from around the world and every country that you can think of, certainly the hockey nations, and maybe even a few not. The Australians possibly making the greatest sacrifice year after year after year, bringing a full squad of veterans and over 38s. Their skills and abilities are stepping up as this competition grows. Everyone's stepped up a notch, so we're really pleased that they are willing to do what they do. We wouldn't have a World Cup without them. It wouldn't be a World Cup. And they know that they're going to come all this way and have such a hard time, such a big mountain to climb from a non-traditional hockey-playing country. And they still pull it off. They've beaten GB once or twice in the past, much to my discontent. In fact, I can remember one of the very best, bits of playing them in Anglet near Biarritz in France. That year was the fact that immediately before our match, the Aussie geezers, and quite rightly too, chipped in all and went and got us absolutely blathered. Chipping in to buy a couple of rounds for everyone just before the match, just to make sure that we weren't over enthusiastic during the game. Once the results, of course, were a foregone conclusion, don't get me wrong, we were fighting for every bit in that World Cup, as we always do. The GB Masters team now just gathering in front of me here. We've got kids on laps and plenty of beers being carefully guarded between the legs as they watch what should prove to be today a really great exhibition of hockey as we progress through the day. The standard should just be slowly rising and rising and rising from very good to unbelievable to outstanding to epic as we build today towards Czechoslovakia versus the United States. Thanks, Ben Galvez, for posting about the live stream and getting it up for everyone. Keep spreading the word, everyone. The more we've got out there watching, the more people we introduce to this sport, the bigger it can grow, and the more that we can do for these players to make sure that the infrastructure and the setup is there so we can repeat this spectacle and get ourselves back out to next year and the year after. In our committee meeting the other night, every team that's here now, every single one, with enthusiasm and great gusto, saying very clearly they are committed to building and working towards an even bigger and better future for this World Cup at Masters and Veterans level. And I think that's fantastic. And it just shows you how important it is for these guys to continue to play and represent their sports. So good on them. And the future is bright. And with a little bit of luck, I'll be right here too. I might need a few favors more from the chaps in the pit. Sorry, guys. But it's important. And so hopefully I'll bring that to you as we go forward into the future. We're still here now with 12 minutes left in the second period. GB versus France. GB with 2 scores on the doors, having just potted a moment ago. And France with 7. And just a little chit-chat in the center here. Not quite sure what it is that they're absolutely looking at. Seemed to be a little timeout. Take a well-needed rest. They really need to, because although maybe just a couple of degrees cooler today, it's still very hot. And these chaps have been going all out for days. And days and days of skating hard in the heat, competing, late nights, meeting new people, friends, looking after each other and talking about hockey. It's quite tiring. It's really knackering. So kudos to these chaps who are just up here giving it as big licks as they possibly got left to give on what will be their final outing. Supported well by their compatriots in the over 38s team in their red tops just here in front of me in the booth. The atmosphere quite warm, as well as the temperature here in the Pala Onda Arena. People starting to slowly gather more and more for what could be some interesting finals coming up. After this match, we will have game number 44, which will be France v Canada. So, Canadians, are you up? Are you ready? Can you get here? It will be at, let's get a definitive time here. Game 44 is 11:30 local time. So that's a 5:30 start, a 5:30 get up if you're It's 765. Yeah, if you're in Eastern time, 4:30. That's another early morning for those in the peg. You might as well just stay up if you're on the West Coast. Family and friends of Carl, just stay up. Keep it going. Get some pizzas on order. Shove the sofa up a little bit closer to the TV. Turn the volume down low so you don't wake the neighbors up. And get yourself ready. Fill a cooler full of beer so you don't have to keep on going up and down to the fridge. I'm still here, everybody, in case you thought I'd gone away. I'm just doing a little bit of journalism. Sorry. I like to kid. I'm just trying to make some arrangements to get a few people up into the cabin here to have a little interview and speak to a few people and introduce you to some of the gentlemen that I have the pleasure of playing some hockey with. I also might be taking just a little bit of a breather from time to time and sucking on some lovely lemon cold lozenges. Does GB go on the attack here? Might not be able to give my voice much of a break too much because they're on a bit of a roll here. I'm eager to put another score on the door before the end of the second period. If you're watching out there, and it seems as though there must be at least, well, a few of you. We are live on Zone Multimedia, XONE Multimedia on YouTube. And we've got the expert Nicola Ambrosini and his team bringing to you a really, really well put together package of some graphics and great high def video. All the kit and equipment here to help me out, bring you live the Masters and Veterans competition. It's hot here in Bolzano, in the northern parts of Italy, in the Dolomite Hills. Just a little bit past Lake Garda in the north of Italy, if you're looking for it. Near to the border of Austria. It's summertime. It's hot. There's a penalty. And the players that you can see out there now are visibly tired. This will be the last game that they play in these competitions. And I think that so far they've really given their all. Le Capitaine here having a word about the penalty. Legs so tired now that you can see that even Lorenzo Spinazzi struggling to stay on his feet with the last 4 minutes left of this last game for these vets in the competition. France have got 7, GB have got 2, and they'll have enjoyed that, those lads. There's some real pressure here. It'll be everything that GB have got to stay on their toes and try and defend a competent and skillful attacking presence from the French. Many of these French hands have had their hands on the World Cup before. But for the best will in the world, age, time, heat, and a week of matches in it are telling their toll now. And they'll be counting down the minutes so they can get themselves to some fresh refreshments, some form of fizzy pop to guzzle down and celebrate their achievements. Each one of them having their own and the team achievements and expectations throughout this tournament. GB are there just expecting to keep the French away during this power play and doing a good job. 2:50 left. Will this be the last GB shift at veterans level? Just 2 minutes left. Let's see if GB can maybe impose themselves on what little is left in this competition for them. They're having a go. And this here might just be the last shift. Johnny Fowler. His partner, Donna. Absolute light of my life and the life of the party at so many competitions at world level. And a bigger and brighter and better personality I don't think anybody knows. And in my darkest days, struggling to try and manage a GB team that always had a mountain to climb, she was a great friend and a confidant. And she remains that to these players and many others as well too. And it's always brings a smile on my face to know that Donna's out here with us. And anybody who knows her, and many, many do, they know just how much brightness she brings to any room when she's in it. Including this morning at breakfast. She always makes me laugh. And she's always got something really good to say. And it's usually a reminder of the real truth. And I love that about her. So thanks to Donna for coming out here and doing what she does best to everyone, which is cheer them right up. She'll be cheering on her man out there now in this last little shift. Oh, well done. Trying to save that last little dig by the French. Clearing Johnny. Did the job. 1 minute left. Will they forecheck and try and disrupt the French? Not allow them to make the attack? This is GB's last chance. France dominant as always. Vela Galik, shot! And that's why he's still dangerous at this age. And I say this with the most dearest of respect. You don't think he's threatening. With that old school helmet rolling around, and then suddenly his quickness in his hands. I think he could still play for the first team, frankly. Vela Galik there. Tremendous player for l'équipe de France, who have now 8 with seconds left to play. GB just not having quite enough to stop them in these last dying seconds and minutes. GB 2, France 8. And the last match of their World Cup. Brilliant effort by the lads there to hold out against what is attrition of heat and pressure and effort and expectation in their debut as in the World Cup. I've just got the team captain of GB, the under-38s team, Simon Hare, arranging someone else to come in and speak to us now while we take this break. And then we'll be preparing for the next match coming up, which will be match number 44, which is France v Canada. I'm joined up here now by Dan Morris, the GB keeper for the under-38s. He's debutant here at these games. This is the first time you've seen something at this level in terms of Worlds. Tell me, what are your thoughts and what were your expectations coming out here, and how has it met those expectations?
It's great. As a team, our expectations were to reach the quarters, so we've achieved that. The actual tournament itself has been brilliant. It's been well organised. The team spirit's been great. The locker room's been great fun. Personally, Thanks, guys. Personally, I've been out of hockey for a few months, so it was nice to be back in the change rooms with the guys. That sounds terrible. But no, it's been good fun. It's been great.
And how, in terms of the way that the GB team have put themselves together this year, they've had trials throughout the year and the various different methods of selection and stuff like that. And in terms of that development process, do you think you guys did enough to represent yourselves as good as you could this year? Could you have done more?
I think so. I think it took us a little while to get into our stride. I think it probably took 2 games to believe in the systems and get going. So we were talking earlier, maybe next year we could have a few friendly games before we get here. Our first competitive games were on that rink, and I think maybe there's a lesson learned there, that we could get that rustiness out of the way before the tournament. But yeah, other than that, we're happy with the way it went.
In terms of where you've played hockey before, tell us a little bit about your hockey history. Where have you come from in terms of hockey, and what are your plans going forward now? Are you going to be a permanent fixture in the GB team? Is it your plan to install yourself as number 1 keeper for GB, or are you happy just to contribute where you are? And where do you see yourself going forward in terms of GB?
Well, I'll keep track. My background, I played Portsmouth University for a while when we had quite a strong team. A lot of good GB players at the time. James Morris, who's here now, played for us then. Jay Paxman was a name a lot of the
guys. Yeah, I know those guys. Yeah, super
so
players.
We had a strong team at Portsmouth, and then moved back to Wales. So I came through the Cardiff setup, played for Cardiff Panthers, Valley Commandos. We had a few national winning teams there. But personally, I've moved to Amsterdam about a year ago. So I'm in the process now I've got the bug again. I had given up hockey, certainly playing in goal. I'd given up maybe 3 or 4 years ago, but I was just looking at my pads thinking I'm not ready for that to be the last time I've worn them. So I'm looking to find a team now in Amsterdam, and then I'll be there trying out.
Okay, watch out the Dutch. You've got a player loose and a decent keeper and a GB representative. And so in thinking about that going forward now, what do you think that the GB team needs to do to prepare for World Cups going forward, and what do you think you can contribute to that?
I think we just need to having all this promotion, the work you're doing, getting it out there. I know already there's players who weren't interested in coming this year, who've seen what's going on now via these web links, via these, the internet, and they're like, oh, I want to be there. So I already know my work's cut out, because I know there's more goalies looking to come to trial next year that didn't try out this year. And if that goes for the players as well, then we'll have a stronger, a deeper team, and I think that's what we need. That's what we need. If the best 50 players in the UK turn up for trials, then the best 12 that make it here is going to be a strong team.
Fantastic, and it takes the effort of everyone working together like this, all the teams from around the world, and individuals like yourself and the GB outfit to continue to press forward and stuff like that. So you've represented yourself really well at Team GB. Congratulations for your efforts. Maybe not the perfect results, but as good as maybe could have been expected.
That's it, well, our aim when we came here was to make the quarterfinals, and quarterfinals we made.
So you've done that achievement, and everyone's saying back at home this is right now, without a shadow of a doubt, the very best GB side they've ever seen. So congratulations to you guys. Well done. You represented yourselves really well. And this is an opportunity now, while you're live and going out on stream, to say hi to anyone else you want back at home.
Oh, personally, I just want to say thank. I've got my family here, so my wife Carla and children Hannah and Ben are here. But we've had a lot of support from home as well, a lot of Facebook activity, Twitter activity, and I know all the boys are really grateful for it. So it's been great.
Yeah, and that's really important.
And thanks to you, Pete. This is not easy what you do, and I know there's a lot of people at home enjoying it. So
it's my pleasure to bring you stuff. But you guys are doing the real hard work out there.
Yeah, so. It's hot. Yeah. That's all. We just sweat. We just sweat and sweat.
Yeah, no, I can smell it now. Actually, that's great, man. It's a pleasure. Thanks very much for coming up. Cheers. Thanks for that. Dan Morris there, GB keeper number 2, coming up and doing an interview, and I can see his partner there smiling and grinning, He thinks he's in the big time now, little does he know. If you could only see in there, well, you probably can now, but if you could see in here now, believe me, it's not big time. Don't be fooled into thinking anything different. But thanks to Dan for coming in and sharing his thoughts, and I completely echo his sentiments there. What it takes in terms of a group effort for all of us together to put this together. My little effort individually here is just one small part of literally person after person after person, layer after layer after layer of hundreds and thousands of people, all the volunteers here in Italy especially, but every team member, every partner, every son or daughter or family member of a team player who's come all the way across the world, all the way across Europe, and sacrificed their time. My guys back at work in the pit who, maybe not always patiently, but at least reasonably understand the importance of this sort of thing and this growing kind of village fete, community club kind of effort. But as you guys can now see, as a result of that effort, looking around and seeing this kind of stuff going on, doesn't look like it, does it? It's getting very much to be a feel of perhaps maybe something a little bit special, a little bit more than just, you know, a mom and pop operation. And going forward in the future, a little bit later on today, I've got the general manager of the organization, David Ninzati, to come up and speak. I've got the president of the organization that we work under now, Alberto Lestuzzi, and the Isaac Newton of Inline Masters, Monsieur Alain Blanchet, a person très génial, the most thoughtful, kind, and